Okay, it's Aaron Carr here with PennLive Sports. I'm alongside Charlie Fortney, the director of the Mr. PA and Miss PA basketball committee. And today we have a little bit of an announcement here. We've got our finalists for the Mr. PA and Miss PA basketball awards for 2018. But Charlie, first, before we get into the finalists, kind of give us a little bit of an idea on how these finalists were chosen and what goes into the selection process.
Yeah, the selection process, I have a privilege to work with some great people in the selection process. And one of the tasks I took on several years back when we started this about 5 years ago was to organize a respected selection committee across the state of Pennsylvania. If it's going to be a Mr. Pennsylvania or a Miss Pennsylvania selection, we need to have tentacles the whole way from Pittsburgh the whole way to the end of the state, the Philadelphia area, even up north, and great basketball people that are established and rooted, like John Miller, Hall of Fame coach, also the father of Sean Miller and Archie Miller, who are major college basketball coaches out west, is often nominating players out that way, has his eyes and ears open out there. Naturally, you guys do a tremendous job, and the sports writers at PennLive and also sports writers across the state to give opinions. Your all-state selections and your players of the year are looked at very closely as why don't we have them on our list, or why should we have them on our list.
I certainly see some all-state players here. Yep.
You guys do a tremendous job, and so it gives us a blueprint in which to keep us accountable, to make sure we're not missing good kids out there. And then you have Hoop Group, Rob Kennedy and those guys that do a lot in the Philadelphia area. They recommend folks. They have top basketball players coming to their prospect camps every year. John Bucci in the Scranton area. You got folks up north, all across the state of Pennsylvania. Just Steve Little, guys like that, just basketball minds across the state. Naturally, I do a lot with basketball, being a part of Team Pennsylvania and AU basketball and training in South Central PA. So naturally, I was a target for this kind of organization, my connections. But I'm just privileged to be a part of it because it does help us not miss good kids. We don't want to miss good kids. We don't want. And what's nice about this process is over 100 kids can be nominated each year. That process starts around beginning of February. I like the fact that it's at the end of a season, and we do give it the time. That way, if a kid has a great state championship or they lead their team to a state title, like some of our girls here, Allie Campbell, Deja Terrell, Kiki Jefferson, and some of the ones that are listed. But even on the boys' side, we see it. They still have a chance to be recognized. I know a lot of times all awards are picked, and then a player goes and has 45 points and they win the state title. Well, the award was already selected. That's not the case with Mr. PA, Mr. PA basketball, Miss PA basketball. On May 26th at the Capitol, Congressman Marsico will host a luncheon, very exciting every year, right there in the Capitol Rotunda with sports writers. Gary Sutton will be the MC, and we always have a major college basketball coach or college coach to come in and speak. We've had Pat Chambers from Penn State in the past, Flanagan from Bucknell, a number of great speakers each year will do this for us, and we're looking forward to that again this year. But this is a great selection committee. It's thorough. We have a couple local guys on the ground I want to mention that are very instrumental. Guys like Denny Bavaria, who does a lot with Cumberland Valley basketball. We know Cumberland Valley put out some great products over the years. He helps organize the girls' side, and it's just guys like that. And again, working with you writers over the year, the guys the sports writers have just chipped in and helped out. We really appreciate it. So
yeah, well, it seems like 7 very worthy candidates for the boys and 7 very worthy ones for the girls. But yeah, you mentioned a few of the girls' candidates, but let's start with the boys. Let's run through the list.
Well, and it's an announcement. This is the first time we're actually putting this out there. So the 2018 Mr. PA basketball finalists on the boys' side, we're gonna name. We have to start at the top with Cam Reddish, #2 in the country, going to Duke. Played at Westtown High School. I had the privilege to see the basketball gym he plays in over this past weekend. Is our first finalist. Antonio Rizzuto from Northeastern at guard. If you haven't seen this guy, he can play any position on the floor. I believe University of Albany, just an amazing guard that can, just strong with the ball, can shoot the ball, very athletic. He's going to make his college coach happy. Probably score 1,000 points in college would be my guess, the way he plays the game. A player I literally fell in love with this past year watching him play, and I've known Drew Freiberg since he was a little kid, that was been involved in him in just some other ways through basketball in the past. But I never saw a kid with such a complete basketball game in a long time in Pennsylvania, and that goes for any of them, and that's Drew Freiberg heading to Princeton. This kid's the whole package. I mean, this kid's got the grades, he's got the competitiveness, he can play the point, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've seen him jump a foot over the rim for rebounds, we've seen him hit the 3, we've seen him score 49 points against a very good defensive Harrisburg team.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
he's a great big for the little Lions.
I mean, he's just
sure.
amazing. And then you got guys like Robbie Carmody from Mars, take his team to the state title game. Definitely deserving, a senior. Ryan Young from Bethlehem Catholic, senior forward, another well-deserving candidate. Eric Dixon from Abington, a forward. He's a junior. And then we have another finalist who is a top underclassman selection is George Tinsley, Abington Heights, a forward, a junior, also played in the state title game. We know what happened there on the boys' side.
A very impressive list. You ran down a lot of the credentials for a lot of these guys. Of course, Carmody, the Gatorade Player of the Year this year. Just a very, very complete list here with some Division I recruits, as you mentioned, in Carmody and Reddish right off the top. Now let's go to the girls' side.
The girls' side. It's usually ladies before gentlemen, but in this case, we're going to put the ladies second because we want to save the best for the last. I do love doing the girls' side because, if you go to the Miss PA luncheon or Mr. PA luncheon, and there are tickets available if you want to be in a nice, cozy luncheon with these top athletes. I mean, last year we were privileged to have Lonnie Walker be our Mr. Pennsylvania last year, and we all
Good
know.
Choice. Yeah.
So right at the Capitol, there's Lonnie Walker giving his speech, and there's a nice cozy crowd of about 100 players and family eating lunch together, and that was a treat for any of the younger kids that came, any of the other players, because we all know Lonnie Walker's forecast here in the future and what he's going to be doing. He's going to be making himself look good and everybody look good in this process. But the girls at this event every year, we've had Kelly Jaycott, a 2-time winner. We've had some great selections over the years. But when you look at the girls' selections in the major colleges that they're attending, and you see the height and the talent of these young ladies, it just gives you a greater appreciation. Girls basketball's come a long way. It just causes you to really have a lot of respect for the girls' game. And one girl we want to talk about, very important, is Allie Campbell. She's a sophomore on this list from Bellwood. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year, and we really do not put younger players in this selection lightly. We can always save them for the future and reward top-notch seniors going off to college. But Allie Campbell, I think, earned it this year with a state championship, I believe.
She was incredible and for the Blue Devils.
And we had to reward her in that respect. So we may see her again on this list in the future. I would think so.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah, Lexa Williamson from Chartiers Valley, Chartiers Houston. I'm sorry. Forward, a senior, is our next selection. These are in no certain order, by the way, but we've been very important to mention Allie Campbell, Gatorade Player of the Year first. Our top underclassman from last year was a girl that Aaron, you and I both agreed had just a tremendous amount of upside and still does in potential, and that's Deja Terrell from Berks Catholic. She's a forward. She's 6'1", she's long, play multitude positions.
Took the Saints to the state championship.
Took state title again, yeah. Took Berks Catholic to a place that, uncharted territories, but Lynn Milligan and that coaching staff at Ryder have basically stolen a major college basketball player and Deja, and I think they did a great job of appealing to her because I think she could put them on the map. Diamond Bragg, we love. I mean, let's brag about Diamond Bragg, right? She was a selection.
Deserves it.
Yeah, she was a selection last year. She was in that finalist last year, heading to Wisconsin. This girl does a lot of good things for the community. I know she's doing a more than a game, raising money for the Camp Curtin YMCA. She's one of my favorites as far as the kind of young lady she is in her aspirations, the things she likes to try to do. But man, Wisconsin has a very strong guard, a big, strong guard that can penetrate and get people the basketball from Camp Hill High School, and she has certainly taken Mark Clark's Camp Hill Lady Lions to places that they have never gone before as well. Katie May from Archbishop Wood, a forward, a senior. Congratulations, Katie May, for having that opportunity. Katie is heading to Northeastern, Division I, and that's a very good university. In fact, I remember a young lady from CD East, Lori, I can't remember, 6'1" girl, Lori, I'll remember the name later, but from CD East. I'm going to get some texts and some emails. She played for Northeastern, scored a lot of points at Northeastern from CD East years ago. I'll remember it before the end of our conversation. Also, Kiki Jefferson from Lancaster Catholic. We see her as a top underclassman in our finalists. So we, along with George Tinsley up there on the boys' side as a top underclassman. It's something we started last year to have them be a part of the finalists. As someone that throughout the state we're seeing is someone that we think is a very promising player that's coming back the following year, and that is a great selection there in Kiki Jefferson. They won the state championship, so I think Kiki validates this
undefeated team.
Validated that as well. Taylor O'Brien is our final senior finalist. Taylor O'Brien from Plymouth Whitemarsh, a guard. She's a senior. Boy, what a player she is. I had not had a chance to see her play, but naturally our tentacles and the voting, the sports writers, naturally she deserved to be on this list. Aaron.
Certainly. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just did everything for Plymouth Whitemarsh this year, and so that's the 7 girls, 7 boys, and certainly a incredible list of 14 total finalists here.
Yep.
And well, Charlie, thanks a lot for sitting down with us and unveiling the list. I'm sure it'll be a great show. As you mentioned, it's been a lot of stars, a lot of great award winners there, and just looking at the list here, no doubt we'll get 2 outstanding award winners again this year, I'm sure.
And I think everyone knows that, like, there's definitely other players in the state that could have been deserving to be in this category. The process is long, and it does take votes. It does take people believing in you, people seeing you, and every year I think the selection committee across the state does a better job every year. But we do have to give in this process some credit to the active nominations, and we do have to give some credit to the active voters out there that do help some candidates getting a little bit edge over the others, because we do include the community of fans in this as a part of the process. We consider the coaches and the sports writers as part of the process, and then ultimately the selection committee sits down to review to make sure that you do have candidates like this that fit this high-level Mr. PA, Miss PA standard. And again, we do thank PennLive because you guys help set that standard. You get all across the state, and you're picking players at every level, and that certainly helps us in the process to work off of that as well.
Just one man's opinion, I liked what I saw. I'm sure a lot of the sports writers around the state who, like you said, voted on the all-state teams and whatnot, I'm sure they'll agree as well. So we'll find out later this month who is the 2018 Mr. PA and Miss PA basketball award winners.